Well, what can I say? I'm looking at court papers here, served to me, and it says here, discount for early plea of guilty. The court, when passing sentence on you, will consider giving you a lower penalty if you enter an early guilty plea under Section 144 of the Criminal Justice Act 2003, as refers. The amount of any discount will depend on how early you indicate your plea, as well as the circumstances made you plead guilty. Right, and then it says, nothing stated here is intended to persuade you to plead guilty. Well, it is, isn't it? Because technically, they're asking me if I plead guilty, I'll get less of fine. But then, let's look at the charge. Original charge between 2004, September 2018, and November 2018 at Callington in the county of Cornwall or elsewhere. Pursued by a course of conduct which amounted to the harassment of the said person, and which you knew or ought to have known amounted to the harassment of her, in that you posted on the internet comments and video in relation to the said person, contrary to Section 2.1 and 2 of the Protection from Harassment Act 1997. The offence title, Harassment Without Violence. Have you not a right of freedom of speech? Have you not a right to defend yourself, defend your business? 8 years of stalking from a lunatic. And the police have said, if I go on the internet and actually mention any of this, this could prejudice my case. Well, I'm sorry, but I think it's about time I went public. So this week, I had a letter through from the Devon and Cornwall Police saying that your complaint about Devon and Cornwall Police not doing their job properly has been referred to the Complaints Authority, and it will be investigated by a inspector. And unfortunately, that inspector, I put a complaint about him 4 years ago for not doing his job and getting this woman off my back. And I had to contact the Devon and Cornwall Police and said, do you think it is acceptable that a police officer that I complained about is now investigating whether the police have done a good job or not a good job? I tell you what, this is going live, and some of you people might not be interested. And at the end of the day, if you're not interested, I'm totally accept that. I understand that. My Facebook site is private. You have to ask me to be a friend on my Facebook site. So it's not there for the whole world to see. But if people share what I put on my Facebook site, that's not my problem. If people say to other people, oh, he said this about this, and it offends you, don't watch it. It's simple. Innocent until proved guilty, as Andy Stead says, and that's what I'm saying. Innocent till proved guilty. I'm fed up with the system. 8 years of trying to get the Devon and Cornwall Police to get this nut job, off my back. If I mentioned her name, I can be arrested and have my guns taken off me. Now, it's harassment without violence. There is no violence involved. There's no threats of violence been involved. All I've tried to do is clear my good name, and every time someone goes and says something about me and rubbishes me in a nasty way, I stand up for myself. Haven't I got a right to defend my good name? Haven't I got a right to debate with these people if they want to debate with me? And so that's why I've gone live. I've gone live because I've decided to do a Tommy frickin' Robinson. You might hate him, but at the end of the day, he's been around for 10 years. If you can show that he is a total racist, then I will agree with you. I like watching what he says because I like to be open-minded and decide whether I like him or don't like him, whether I think he's guilty or not guilty. And the establishment is trying to take away our freedom of speech. And this is more than a fracas with one person over the internet. This is a hate campaigner that does not like the way I train dogs. And I do not want to debate with this person. I don't want to talk with this person. But every time this person brings up my name, I have a right to defend it. And that's what I've done. And I'm being taken to court on the grounds that I have stood up to a bully on the internet, a positive-only trainer who has gone out of her way to try and ruin my life, my business, and my poor wife is in pieces over it. And I've tried to keep this within the concept of let's deal with it behind closed doors, and I've mentioned it on the odd occasion. I'm about to expose the Devon and Cornwall police, but guess what will happen when I do? My guns will be taken off me, because they will go out of their way, like they have, to go after the person who's got a firearms license or a shotgun license. And this is the problem. We are supposed to be treated equal. If you break the law, they have every right, and I think they should have the right, to step in and say, we need to get involved and take your guns off you for the safety of the Joe public or safety of the person you're having an argument with. But if you're not using violence and you're only using freedom of speech and you're controlling yourself in a professional manner, then I feel that you have a right to defend your good name on the internet. And this is what this is about. So I feel that it needs to be addressed and shown for other people out there suffering from these keyboard warriors who sit behind the internet slagging off and running down people's businesses. 30 years of training dogs, and I've never been prosecuted for any animal cruelty in my life. And this woman is telling people that I've been prosecuted, and customers of mine have been bullied, and they've contacted her and they've said on her, to her personally, that I'm a bully and I've bullied them, and they are too scared to come forward and say something because of what I will do to them. It's an absolute disgrace for this person to say that because I disciplined dogs, it meant I beat my children and I beat my wife. I think it's absolutely disgraceful. And the police to not do anything about it has incensed me so much that I have decided to go public. And at the end of the day, I've gone public because I feel that it needs to be highlighted that we need a change in the law, that these people, if they say slanderous comments about you, you have a right to react back to them within the law. Within the law. I'm a strong believer we have to act within the law. You don't have a shotgun license or a firearms license unless you're a law-abiding citizen. Trust me. They've not watched this. They've not worked this out. What they've said is he's the threat because he's got shotguns. Well, you've took my shotguns off me. I won that case in court, and it's cheesed off the Devon and Cornwall police. And the Devon and Cornwall police have gone out of their way, and they are going out of their way to try and prosecute me to prove the fact that they are saying that I am the one who's creating the problem. When in fact, all I'm doing is defending my good name, my business, and I have a right to say to people that this person is not right in the head, this person is not stable, this person needs to have a inquiry about them. I've been dragged into the police station on 4 occasions over 8 years over this situation. And this person has never been questioned in a police station. And if they'd questioned her in a police station and worked out her mental state in the first place, we would not be in this situation 8 years down the road. 8 years down the road, I have had nothing but harassment from this person. And I'm now standing up and I'm going public, and I'm going to actually start showing the whole of this case on the internet if the police don't deal with this in the right way. I am absolutely disgusted with the Devon and Cornwall police. And as soon as they've warned me, if I go public with this, this could jeopardise my court case. So I've got to be very careful what I say. So all I'm saying is, if you're listening and you're interested, then fine. If you're not interested and you think it's just an internet spat between two people, I've just put up a video about a trainer in America. He does nothing but slag off every trainer that I know, good trainers and bad. He does nothing but put up videos about me. Have I ever threatened him with violence? No. Have I used satire and humour to make a laughing stock of him? Yes. That's what I do. And I do it on purpose. I do it on purpose, and I do it for a reason. It stops the other idiots kicking off because they think, he's got the balls to make a video about you if you carry on and rubbish him. He'll stand up for what he believes in. I'm not a vigilante. I'm a law-abiding citizen who wants to be left alone by this evil, horrible woman. The damage, mental damage that she's done to my poor wife, and my wife's not here at the moment, is unbelievable. And how I've restrained myself, I should be given an award. I should be given an award for not taking the law into your own hands. And the reason that you don't take the law into your own hands is because we own firearms. We own shotgun certificates. And if we don't behave ourselves, we let our community down. We let our people who have to adhere to the same rules as me. If you break the law, even simple things like racing your car down the road, the firearms department could turn around and say you're not a sensible citizen. So every time you apply for your firearms license, they ask you, have you got any convictions? You know, if you were in trouble with the police all the time, or you didn't have a good record, right, you wouldn't have your guns. It's as simple as that. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. We need to say to these people out there, just because we are the shooting community and we shoot, it does not make us dangerous if we stand and argue with you on the internet. And that's important. What we do is within the law of this land. And if we want to do that, that's down to us. If you don't like it, don't watch it. It's as simple as that. Don't watch it if you don't like it. No one's forcing you. No one's tied you to a chair to watch my Facebook channel or my YouTube channel. And if I've banned you because of your outrageous comments and your slander and your shit you pass on the internet about me and my business and my family, and I ban you on Facebook, technically, I'm not talking to you. I may be talking about you, but I'm not talking to you. So what I'm saying is, bring it on. I've now reached the point that I've had enough. And I'm going into that court, and if I say this, they're going to perceive it as, oh my God, what does he mean? So you've got to be very careful on every word you say, because if I said a statement like, I'm going into that court with all guns blazing, they would say, what did you mean, Mr. Upton, when you said you're going into court with all guns blazing? It's a saying. It's how you perceive it. It means I'm going to go into the court, and I'm going to plead not guilty, and I'm going to question her in the dock. And I'm going to question her, and I'm going to let the court know exactly what I've had to go through for 8 years. And I think I should be given an award from the court for controlling myself in such a professional manner, rather than going back to what I may have done in my teens. Because we've all moved forward in life, we've all developed, we've all matured, and we've all realised that if you want to get on in life, you have to be a law-abiding citizen. So what I'm saying is, I'm now fed up with this. I've even thought, should I hand my guns in, close down my business, and fight my corner? And I thought, no, because if I do, these people win. These people win. And this is not what I'm willing to happen. I've got to stand up and fight these people, and I've got to do it within the law, and I've got to stand up and hold my head up high and say that I have not broken the law, but I have defended my good name and my business. Now, you look at some of this stuff they send you. It's taken them 8 months to decide whether they're going to charge me with this offence. How the hell does the average layperson know what they say on the internet? If it offends somebody, you can end up in court. It's become absolutely ridiculous. Freedom of speech is being taken away from us. If this woman left me alone and I'd never mention my name again, I'd never mention her name again. I've begged her to do this. I've begged her. I've begged the police to deal with her. And they said to me, it's a civil matter because Scottish law is different than English law. So, liable, I could spend £20,000 and go after this woman, or I could get the top solicitor and win this case outright in court. Why should I spend £20,000 on a situation that if I get fined, it will be, hey, 400 quid, or told to not have any contact with this woman? If I got found guilty, I can't go in there and say I'm guilty because she won't come to court. If I go in there and say guilty of harassing her because she's harassed me and give a mitigating circumstances, they'll turn around and say she doesn't have to come to court, and they'll give judgment and they'll give me a fine or whatever. But this is what's really important. The fact is, I need to stand up and have her in court and question her of what she's done to me in the last 8 years. 8 years. It's stalking. It's not harassment. It's hate. She's gone after me with hate. And the Devon and Cornwall police have never investigated her, or the Scottish police have never investigated her. They've come back and said it's a civil matter. How can it be a civil matter for her to harass me, and yet I make a statement or one word on a video, and I've been telling you people in a roundabout way on live feed in a jokey manner that, you know, I'm being monitored. I've been monitored for the last 9 months by Devon and Cornwall police. This is totally unfair, and I've reached a stage, I've now had enough, and I'm going public with it. By going public, I have a strong feeling that you upset the authority, exactly the same as Tommy Robinson, they will get you. They will close you down. The last police interview I had, they threatened to take my guns off me if I didn't listen to them. They threatened to say that they have the right to come along and take all my electronic items out my house for investigation in case I've said something or done something that they're doing an investigation. And I said, well, you need to get a warrant if you think that's the case. And if you want to take my guns off me, you need to go and get a warrant. What they don't like somebody who stands up for themselves, who believes in, if you've done nothing wrong, you have a right to stand up and say it. And that's what this is about. This is about integrity. This is about honesty. This is about saying it the way it is. I've made mistakes. I accept. In the 8 years, I've made mistakes. I've been a little bit forceful early on. And I was warned. And I took that warning on board. But I said, the one thing you cannot do is take away my freedom of speech. If you can't stop her talking about me and my business and ruining my life, then I have a right to fire back. And at no point have I been arrested. And yet the police are saying, an inspector in Devon and Cornwall, I've got proof of this, is saying that I was arrested. This woman is saying that I was arrested. I have never been arrested. I have got no animal cruelty charges against me. I have got no charges of cruelty towards my wife or my children. I have never, ever had a confrontation with somebody that I've pursued to the point that I've harassed them and they've gone to the police. This is a one-off. I have 2.5 million views on my videos. I have over 5,000 subscribers. And I've got one person saying that she is intimidated in what I do and what I say. That is not my problem. If you don't like my videos and you don't want anything to do with me, go away and leave me alone. But if you think that posting crap about me in Messenger, in private to people, and then they pass it to me and I don't see it, and you think I'm just going to sit there and say nothing, I'm telling you straight, I'm going to fight this all the way with the courts. This is absolutely disgraceful, and I feel pity for Tommy Robinson and the way the media has closed ranks on him and said that he is a total out-and-out racist and a thug, when in fact, in our early days, we've all, not all of us, but some of us, did things. We come from an environment that is different than perhaps somebody had a real good upbringing. And at the end of the day, we may have gone off the rails a little bit. But I have tried to be a model citizen and get on with my life, run my business, and be a person that people can respect and like for the fact of his honesty. And if my honesty and my integrity is going to be the case that I get found guilty in this court, then so be it. Then so be it. And you'll see that I will fight this all the way. So there you go, everyone. I'm sorry for ranting on, and if you're not interested, you should have switched off by now. But you've seen somebody who's now so frustrated, so angry, and yet controlled. I'm going to fight this in the courts, and I'm not ashamed to say that the courts have summoned me to appear before them and answer this. But I think it's an absolute disgrace when you're told if you plead guilty, you'll get less of a sentence. You'll get a reduction in your fine if you plead guilty. And then they tell you in another letter, nothing stated here is intended to persuade you to plead guilty. It's ridiculous. Because if I get a good solicitor, it's going to cost me 20 grand. 20 grand. To fight this stupid case of absolutely pathetic nothing. That I've won. Because my videos showed people that I don't beat and kick dogs for a living. And that pissed this woman off more than anything. And that's what's pissed the police off. Because they've monitored me for 9 months and they can't find nothing on me. They can't find nothing on me except harassment without violence. Well, how the hell do we know the law if they don't know the frickin' law? It took them 9 months to try and find something that I said on a live feed or a video that she's offended by. She's offended by it. It's not my problem that she's offended by it. So, what I'm asking for is £3 million crowdfunding. So put your money in your pockets and I'll have the best solicitor in the world. Else, Rumpole, Fat Rumpole of the Bailey, is going to represent himself. And do you know what? I feel better representing myself for one reason. Because it's in my head, the 8 years of shit that she's given me, my business, my life. 8 years. I can show court paper after court paper, police paper after police paper saying that we've dealt with it with our MP, we've dealt with it with the Scottish police, we've dealt with the Devon and Cornwall police, and they come back and they say, it's a civil matter. And now all of a sudden, it's harassment from me to her. I'll see you in court, baby. Anyway, if you find that entertaining, good on you. If not, sod off.